Good morning. Every morning I read a proverb of the day. Today's proverb, I read my daily devotion and stuff like that. And I did read Proverbs today. But what has me a little vexed is today's come out John 13:34. And what it says is, a new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I loved you, that ye also love one another. Right? And this was what was put with the inspiration. Wow, this is a difficult commandment to live up to. He asks the disciples to love one another as he loved them. We should love one another as Jesus loved us. This is a task that we will never be able to complete, but it is a lofty goal that we must aspire to. If we keep this in our hearts and minds, the love we share will be tremendous and inspire others to live the same. We must try. Okay? The fact that you've already told yourself that you'll never do it. It's the equivalent of that's crazy. It's the equivalent of practicing for basketball, right? With the already thought that you'll never be in the NBA. Why did I equivalent that to that? Because there are many people throughout Bible history, even people before Jesus, that have displayed the characteristics that Jesus is talking about. So much too, some people walked the earth and then was no more. So they didn't even get to see death. God came and got them. This was before Jesus even hit. Then you had my man Job, that he was so devoted to God and doing it to the point that he didn't even give sacrifices for himself. He gave sacrifices for his family in case they cursed God behind his back. Now, let me give you an introduction of why today's time most of these devout Christians feel like they can't mount up. Versus back then, when I was coming up, you had a lot of people that were devoted because they really truly believe that they can be what Jesus said they can be. And think about this. You got the maker of you telling you that you can do or asking you to do something that he don't think you can do. That will make my God imperfect. He created perfect beings. When a person say that we can't, that comes from an emotional standpoint. Why do I say that? Because the first thing we think of when we say something like that, to be perfect or to make all the right decisions all the time and stuff like that, the first feeling that we get is how many times we didn't do it. We have conviction on ourselves that God don't have on us. He truly forgets and forgives. We just forgive. We don't forget. So that's truly not forgiveness. But to him, once you have repented and started your journey over, you are in his eyes perfect from there forth, because everything behind you have gotten wiped away. The only person that's holding on to what's behind them is you, which is causing you to have the imperfection of loving people wholeheartedly and genuinely. It's people that daily, man, they put their lives in front of other people's lives. Are they not acting like Jesus? When that child, man, is laying in that street, man, that car ready to come roll over them. And this person, man, that's not their child, still runs to the help, still put their life in front of, that's an act of Jesus. That's the love of Jesus. Jesus got upset. And we flipped the tables and stuff. But he did that out of love. We can do it. Don't stunt your growth. For like a basketball player, right? What's being said is basically you will never hit 10 or 10 from the free throw. Now imagine if you already thought that. How hard would you try? But see, when you have it in your mind, it can be done. How hard would you try? How much conditioning? And it's the same. It's the same with your spiritual growth. You know? And this is the reason why most of us today's time don't believe in something like that, or loving a person to that extent. It's because I looked at the movie The Forge, right? And when I looked at the movie The Forge, what got me about a lot of Christians, older Christians today, 45 and up, right? The first thing that they say is, that's a good movie. Now, get this though. Now, I'm only saying the truth of my life. The average person that said that that's not true, that that's not how God really functions, it just don't turn for you like that, was females. I haven't heard no man say it don't work like that. But to give a full understanding, in Forge, he was young. He was 20, you know. At that age, you haven't been burnt by life. You haven't been that scorned by love or, you know, things like that. So when you get to something, you are attached to it wholeheartedly with an innocent spirit, man, because you don't. But the goal is when you latch on with that innocence, if we haven't, I got this from my homeboy Andy, if we haven't studied, we study God and we study Jesus and we study how to work and how to move. But if you don't study your enemy, then you won't see how he's doing what he's doing. So meaning a lot of the times we fix ourselves to go in this motion, but we neglect to learn, how does Satan work? And it's through our emotion. If you make, majority of the times, if you make an emotional decision, it's a wrong one. Most of the time. Now, if you just doing a simple mathematical gesture of God. What does that look like? Standing at the cashier, it's a person standing in front of you. Clearly you have an abundance of change in your purse or in your pocket. And that person that's standing in front of you is lacking 10 cents or 25 cents. When it comes to being a Christian or being Christ-like, you don't have to be emotionally moved to dig in your pocket and give the 25 cents. You don't. Because if you keep doing it mathematically, it'll just be nature, it'll be second nature, it'll be something that you just do without a thought. Now, why do you want to perform like that? Why do God want us to perform like that? Because now you're not looking for something in return. And that's where God is. And that's when he moves. That's what Jesus would do. It's not hard. A millionaire said, what's the hardest thing to becoming a millionaire? You know, and a bunch of people yelled out a bunch of credit and ooh, right? And what he said was to believe. Just to believe that you will be one. He said after that, everything seems like it's easy and it just, you have to believe. You have to believe that you can do what Jesus told you you can do. He said, don't marvel at the things that I do, because you will be doing greater things than I have done.